Imagine this. You're online reading about politics, Medicare, or the latest crisis in the news. You click on one video, then another. Suddenly, you start seeing global elites supposedly controlling the world. Stories hinting that the media is run by one group. Slick charts about who runs the banks, memes mocking Jewish people, Israel, or synagogues, sort of wrapped in this dark humor or fake facts. You never searched for Jewish people. You didn't go looking for anti-Semitism. It found you. This episode is about that. It's called AI Supercharging Anti-Semitism. Old hate, new engine. We're not trying to do a history lecture here. We're going to show how AI is being used to package and spread hate for Jewish people, how that overlaps with scams, propaganda, and financial schemes, and what you can actually do personally and with your community, so you're not being played by it. Anti-Semitism isn't new. Blaming Jewish people for everything bad that happens is centuries old. What's changed is the machinery behind it, very significantly. Today, three things work together. The first is called generative AI. Text, image, and video tools can create fake quotes and documents that never existed. Memes that mock or demonize Jewish people and Israel. Slick research threads that are nothing but conspiracy dressed up as analysis. All done at a massive scale in multitude of languages in seconds. Secondly, bots and fake accounts. Automated accounts can swarm comment sections with talking points against Jewish people, pile onto Jewish individuals, their synagogues, and organizations with coordinated harassment, make fringe anti-Semitic views look popular by flooding likes, shares, and replies. Thirdly, recommendation algorithms. Platforms want attention. Their systems push whatever keeps you watching. You click on one video about globalists or elites. Next, you see content blaming Jewish people, Israel, or Zionists for every problem. You get nudged from mainstream content into more extreme material. You don't have to be looking for anti-Semitism to end up in that pipeline. You just have to keep clicking, and the machine does the rest. Let's talk a bit about AI wraps anti-Semitism so it doesn't always look like classic hate. First off, they use a coded language, so-called. Instead of saying Jews outright, content uses phrases like global financial elites, certain people who control the media, really runs the banks. The examples, images, and names used to point overwhelmingly to Jewish people, but the language stays just vague enough to dodge some filters and sound respectable. Second fake, evidence and fake experts. AI can generate charts, screenshots, and documents that look official. It could write long posts that sound like professional analysis, attach fake citations to garbage claims. You end up with slick-looking proof that Jewish people secretly control finance, politics, or healthcare. Thirdly, humor and memes. Anti-Semitic messages get wrapped in jokes, so-called. Cartoons exaggerating Jewish features, memes turning real attacks on Jewish communities into punchlines. Dark humor about synagogues, the Holocaust, or Israeli Jewish issues. If anyone objects, the response is, hey, just relax. It's just a meme. Learn to take a joke. Fourthly, blending with real anger. Real grievances about inflation, corruption, war, inequality get redirected toward Jewish people, Israel, or Zionists. The formula is, you're right to be angry. Okay? Here's the secret group to blame. AI doesn't invent hatred from zero. It takes existing fear and frustration and steers it toward an old target. As you know, this series that we put together is about scams and manipulation. So how does anti-Semitism fit in? Well, actually it does in three big ways. Firstly, anti-Semitism as a recruitment tool. Extremists and conspiratorial groups use AI to identify people who are already angry or confused. Feed them anti-Semitic narratives as an explanation for their problems. Pull them into closed chats and channels where the content becomes more extreme and less visible. Once you trust those sources, they can ask for money, ask you to help their special needs, spread their content, push you toward illegal or even violent actions. Then we have anti-Semitic fundraising scams. You'll see fake charities using conflict, terrorism, or attacks on Jewish community to raise money. The campaigns that claim to support victims but are run by extremists or straight-up scammers. Appeals to saying we're the only ones telling you the truth about who's behind us. Followed by a donation link, AI lets them generate very effectively emotional stories and images. Test which versions make people angriest. Micro-target different audiences with tailored messages. Your outrage becomes, in effect, their business model. Then, finally, we have targeting the Jewish individuals and institutions, which includes synagogues, Jewish schools, and organizations face waves of harassment and threats, coordinated emails and message campaigns, doxxing attempts against staff and members. AI helps attackers draft hundreds of slightly different threatening messages, spin up new accounts when old ones are banned, maintain pressure with very little effort. This isn't just about content. It's about real fear, real money, and sometimes real violence, all supervised by, or supercharged, I should say, by AI. So that's the background. Now, how do you recognize anti-Semitic patterns before they sink in? You know, you don't need to memorize every single symbol. You just need to catch the structure. In essence, one group is blamed for everything. If the message is, this one hidden group is behind all your problems, they control the banks, the media, the government, and they're laughing at you, that's classic anti-Semitic structure. even when the word Jewish is never written. Then old conspiracies in new skins. Watch for these recycled themes. Secret cabals controlling world events, bankers or global elites portrayed with stereotypes tied historically to Jewish people. Claims that Jewish people pretend to be victims while secretly running everything. So whenever someone says, I'll show you who's really behind this, stop and ask, who are they aiming you at? The third pattern, the so-called dehumanization and mockery. The red flags to look at here involve jokes about violence against Jewish people, comparing Jews to animals, diseases, or parasites, treating attacks on synagogues or cemeteries, believe it or not, as punchlines to jokes. That's not edgy humor. That's preparation for abuse and, in the worst cases, for violence. The fourth is pressure to isolate. If a channel or influencer on the web tells you not to trust mainstream sources and tells you not to trust any Jewish voices or organizations, labels anyone who pushes back as brainwashed or part of the plot. That's someone trying to cut you off from reality and from people who might pull you out of the rabbit hole. You don't have to argue with them. You just have to be able to say in your own mind, this is not information. This is radicalization, and I am out. With that in mind, now one must ask the question, what is the important, in this important part, what can you actually do about it? It's been suggested that one must think in 4 levels. You, your family, your community, and the technical platforms where all this information resides. Let's go through one by one. You, be picky about what you share. If something makes you furious and points to one group, Jewish people or anybody else, as the secret cause of everything, sit on it before you forward it. Learn just enough history. You don't need dates and footnotes. You just need to know the pattern. Blame Jewish people for whatever is going wrong has been recycled again and again and always ends badly. Curate your feeds. If a channel keeps pushing conspiracies or mocking Jewish people or any other minorities, unfollow, mute, or block. Your attention to these podcasts is fuel. Stop giving it away to them. Second level, your family. Talk to the younger people you know about algorithm traps. Teach them. You're not seeing what's true, you're seeing what keeps you online. That includes anti-Semitic and other extremist content. Talk to older relatives about coded anti-Semitism. If they start repeating lines about those people who run all the banks, all the media, owned all by one group, unpack it gently where that comes from and what it really means. The third level, your community. Synagogues, churches, mosques, senior citizens centers, civic groups, all can host straightforward sessions on spotting AI-generated fakes, recognizing anti-Semitic patterns, basic online safety and reporting. Jewish institutions, in particular, need stronger digital security and monitoring, with clear instructions for members what to do if they see threats or harassments. Relationships with local law enforcement and reputable security organizations. The fourth involves the platforms and institutions that host the information. You alone can't fix YouTube, TikTok, or X and so forth, but you can report anti-Semitic content when you see it. Support organizations that push platforms to detect anti-Semitic patterns, including coded language, are the ones to get in touch with. Back policies that demand transparency about how hate content is recommended and moderated. None of this is glamorous, certainly, but it's how you stop being an easy mark for people using AI to pump you out. I think you get the message. The hard truth is AI didn't invent anti-Semitism. It just made it cheaper and faster to spread hate for Jewish people on a scale that is unprecedented. When you see this stuff, you're not just getting information, you're being tested. The test is, will you let an AI-boosted machine tell you who to hate? Will you forward material that dehumanizes Jewish people, or for that matter, any other group, just because it matches your anger? Or will you stop and say, I'm not here to be someone else's puppet? Here's the hard truth again, said in a little bit of a different way. The scammers in this series don't just want your Medicare number and your bank codes. More importantly, some of them want your mind. You push back by recognizing the patterns, refusing to share content that dehumanizes whole groups, standing with communities under attack, including the Jewish community, and raising your kids and grandkids to see through the game faster than you did. Anti-Semitism is not just a Jewish problem. We all suffer from it. There's no doubt about it. AI will keep getting better at faking authority and certainty. Your defense is simple. Just slow down. Ask who benefits from this story. Refuse to live in a world where one group is always cast as the hidden villain. In our next episode, we're going to discuss in detail technical support from help, so-called. How help calls let AI scammers take over your seniors' devices. The topic ties directly into everything previously covered. Once they control the device, they can hit banking, Medicare, email, and even push hate content and propaganda. Use the tools that we have given you and help someone else to use them too. Thank you. We'll see you in the next episode.